Okay, well, good. You guys, we are live. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for starting and getting us up to speed. I had some stuff written down. I wonder if the kids took it. But we are in Judges 13, and we're talking about the Philistines and the Nazarite vows. And I just wanted to do a brief overview. Um, Sister Stephanie started us off with the fact of, yeah, now the sons of Israel again did evil, and that has tended to be our whole um, the trek of us coming out of bondage, out of captivity in Egypt and Mizraim. We've always ended up back in bondage because of the evil. And what is considered evil? When you go against what? The law, statutes, and commandments. Because what did we do? We came in under a covenant, and then we did again evil in the sight of Yah. And so the Philistines were originally from Catphor in the island of Crete, and they were sometimes referred to historically as the Sea People. This is very pertinent. No, I'm just going back to the beginning. We're gonna go back to the Nazarite vow because that was great. That's what I perfect. She's on verse 5, but I'm just giving you an overview of who they came under captivity under. So the Philistines were from Caphtor on the island of Crete. You'll hear about Crete when we get into the Brit Kadeshah, the Cretians, and what was going on in Crete and all of the things because there's nothing new under the sun. And so historically, they were the sea people. They invaded Egypt first but failed. And they settled along the coast of Canaan in the 13th century of BC. And they began filtering in the foothills of Dan and Judah. And this will just bring us up to where they are. Then we'll see here. So in verse 2, where she said Zorah, Manoah, the Danites, clues again. Zoah, who he was. That'll tell you who he was, where he came from. You guys look that up yourself. But those three names are very important. Manoah, Noah. So you'll figure out what that name means as well. And then Danites. So we know he's from the tribe of Dan. And in every generation, I saw this. There's a leader born to deliver a nation. And no one, so it just shows us that no one is born without a purpose. And while everyone is sinning and doing what they want to do and complaining and not being productive, the one person that's considered barren or not productive, Yah will use that person. And so this woman, because it was considered a disgrace to not have a child, right? And he will use somebody great, somebody in his kingdom for great use when they're just available. She was barren. She was considered an outcast because she did not have any sons. In Eastern culture, if you didn't have any sons, and we know that son means bene, or they are the builder of the family. You don't have a son, you can't build a family. Without a seed, I don't care how much land you have, you don't have nothing to plant in the land, it's unproductive, so nothing's going to flourish. So verse 3 again, angel of Yahuwah. Whenever you see Lord in caps, that's what it'll be in your Bible, unless you have one of the the Bibles that have been translated back into the original text. When you see angel of the Lord, it is a theophany. It's a picture of Yahushua coming. It's him coming in the form and delivering the message himself, delivering his own a message, coming into presenting it to the person that he wants to present the message to. So he says, now be careful. Careful. What does careful mean? In here it'll say careful, but it means Shema. We sing it all the time. Shema Israel, Yahuwah, Eloheinu, Yahuwah, Ehad. Be careful. Be watchful. Guard what I'm saying. Don't take it as happenstance. Like you better hear what I'm saying because this is very important. So he said, be careful or guard these words. Hide them in your heart, like David said, your word I've hidden. Hide them in your heart because it's going to make sense later on. So guard what I'm saying. Protect what I'm saying. It says, be careful to listen for. Now there be careful not to drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. For behold, you shall conceive and give birth to a son, and no razor shall come upon his head. And for the boy shall be a Nazarite to Yahuwah from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Yahuwah Israel from the hands of the Philistines. Somebody look at number 6, 2, and we're going to read it through 21. Because Nazarite means something. They say Nazarite also means set apart. So it means, huh? Numbers, Numbers 6, 2 through 21. This Nazarite vow. Man, that don't seem like we were back. Oh, that was almost 2 years ago, huh? When we went through and everybody, we were going through the Levitical laws and how the sacrificial laws, and then you see how it all starts to play out as you become a nation. What sense it makes. Um, Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, when a man or a woman makes a vow of a Nazarite. So, listen, a woman or a male can have a Nazarite vow. They can vow. They can be considered set apart from the womb. He shall abstain from wine and strong drink, and he shall drink no vinegar, whether made from the vine or strong drink. Neither shall he drink any grape juice, nor eat fresh or dried grapes, all the days of his separation. So there was different lengths in time from separation from certain things. So when we fast, we can say, I'm vowing to do no wine or no this for 7 days. Sometimes the Nazarite vow could be 30 to 40 days. And in his case, Yah said that he was to be set apart until the day of his death. He said he shall drink no strong drink. All the days of his separation he shall not eat. I'm still in number 6. Now shall not eat anything that is produced by the vine from the seed, even to the skin. All the days of his vow of separation, no razor shall pass over his head. He shall be holy until the days are fulfilled from which he separated himself to Yahuwah. He shall let the locks of his hair on his head grow long. All the days of his separation to Yahuwah, he shall not go near to a dead person. So we see this whole thing, we see things are trendy. People, I want dreads. Oh, the songs come out and people do these things. I'm gonna shake my dreads, I want dreads. They don't even know what they're vowing to do, because you're separating yourself and you're to be identified as something. But we have people separating themselves and identifying with the culture and not the creator. So in this text and in this sense, the Nazarite vow is being separated unto your creator. All the days, note, shave his head, 6, 7. He shall not make himself unclean for his father or for his mother, for his brother or for his sister when they die, because his separation to Yahuwah is on his head. Doesn't matter. So this is a no matter what vow. I don't care what happens. I am set apart solely unto Yah. So again, you can read it. I just wanted to go into those, into some of those things. But just know that Numbers 6, 2 through 21 explains what the Nazarite is. Nazarite means set apart, holy. The womb, yes, 6, 2 through 21, yep. The womb means something as well in this verse. In ancient culture, you see like the Ankh, in Egyptian times, the Ankh, they set apart. The womb is sacred. They worship the womb. And we've seen in Romans 1 where they worship the created things over the creator, who is forever, amen. Okay, the created things are set apart for Yah's holy use. The womb is sacred. It is a holy place. It's a temple. And so the womb, or the beten, is hollowed out, and it's within the body and near the bosom. That's why, like, to soothe the baby, sometimes they have these things that make heartbeat sounds, or the sounds of the womb, to take them back to this place, comfort, where they came from, because that is the safest place and the most hollowed out place on earth. And so you see where he told her that she should eat, how she should eat, and how that nothing should touch his head, and all of these things, what she should drink, because your womb is set apart. It's sacred. That is the place of inception where a miracle is really taking place. So she was told to be careful, and was told also in 5, she said, behold, that you shall conceive and give birth to a son. No razor shall come upon his head, for the boy shall be a Nazarite to Yahuwah from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines. So we talked about who the Philistines were, right? They were from Crete, and they settled within the nation. And for 40 years, they were given rain. We know what 40 years means. What does 40 years represent? It's a time of trial. 40 years is usually a trying time. There are different times of trial: 10, 40, 50 is a year of Jubilee. So these years are very important to understand. And for 40 years, they were given over to their oppressors. But then in every generation, and every 40 years, a new generation starts too. So in this generation, Yah tells this woman, hey, I'm gonna send a deliverer. And we see this so often, but because we're so caught up on these other, we don't pay attention to nuances anymore, because we're so caught. So the kids out today, we were driving, we were coming from the country, and I see everything, because of course I'm driving. I have the kids in the car, cargo, special cargo on hand. You know what I mean? Your kids, you're watchful of the road, and I'm just watching nature. I'm coming out from the country, so I see a hawk, and we were driving. I seen the hawk circling, and I see another one, and I said, "See, you guys are back there on the video game. You're missing all of the things that are out here for you to see, for this little mechanism that keeps you locked in, and you missing everything that's going on. The TV, we locked in on what they're saying, but we're not watching what everybody's doing. We're just, oh, whatever somebody feeds us." And that's another thing, the commentary and the narrative. Whatever somebody makes up, we eat it. No, fast food. We prepare, because we don't prepare it ourselves. We don't know what's in this. If I make some bread, it's going to be real simple, right? It's going to be the yeast, the yeast, the salt, the water, whatever it needs to. It's simple ingredients, and I know what we're eating. But other people are adding everything, all these additives, preservatives to things, and taking your mind off of what's really going on. So the hawk has a mouse. And I'd been telling him, I was like, what is the hawk we were talking about? And she said, oh, a mouse. And I was like, look, he's carrying a mouse right there. And but you didn't see it, because you're so busy locked into all of these other devices. So we miss all that. So every 40 years, there is trying. A new generation comes upon us, and there's a deliverer born every day, more than you probably are aware of. And that's why it's so sad with this whole free sex and a woman's body and the right to choose and all that. And then you don't know if you're killing the next scientist, the next deliverer for your nation, the next one who has the cure for cancer, the person who will cure mental illness. You don't know. And so we get so caught up. But a deliverer, and when you see that here, that's the Hebrew Strong's word, yasha, and the number is 3467. So you're going to give birth to an avenger of his people. He's going to avenge, preserve, rescue, and bring salvation to this generation of people. That was Samson's. That was his mission. And then all of us in here have a mission, and you might not think so, because you're so caught up in, oh, this person is this, and this person is this, and this person is getting notoriety. But you have a task within your own tribe. And that's what he had, a task within his tribe and for his whole nation. But you have a task to procure and secure certain things and to pass on certain things. So even more so, us being women and us talking about all of these things, we all have a task. If you've been given the privilege of being a mother, you have an awesome task. Jeremiah 1:5 says, he says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. He's talking to Jeremiah, but in all of us, he's appointed us something. If you're here, you're here for something. You're not here just to use up air and to drink water and eat and sleep. That's not what you're here for. We all have a purpose. Verse 6. It says, then the woman came and told her husband, saying, a man of Yah came to me, and his appearance was like the appearance of an angel, very awesome. And I did not ask him where he came from, nor did he tell me his name. I saw something here. She ran and told her husband, okay? A person came and declared something to her. She went to the head, to the leader. Hey, This man came and told me something. I didn't even acquire or inquire as to who he was. I heard what he said, and now I'm relaying it to you, Eve. We go back to the chihuahua in the garden. Oh, she had a whole conversation with the enemy, and then did it, believed it. And you see here where she goes to her husband and she explains what happens. And she said he was awesome. And the word awesome here is Yahweh. He was fearful, or she knew that he was a person to be revered. Um, she didn't ask, which is the word Sha'al, Hebrew Strong's number 7592. She didn't request, inquire, or salute, or any of that. She heard what he said, and then she came and told her husband. Verse 7. But he said to me, behold, you shall conceive and give birth to a son. And now you shall not drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing, for the boy shall be a Nazarite to Yahuwah from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated Yahuwah and said, O Yahuwah, please let the man of Elohim, who thou hast sent, come to us again, that he may teach us what to do for the boy who is to be born. Isn't that something? He prayed about what had been revealed. There's something about when things are revealed to us. You know, people always say, oh, I got a word from the Lord. And he told me to tell you such. Okay. Yeah. But I'm going to go pray. What did he tell me that he told you? Exactly. So he prayed, though. He went and prayed.
It shows faith too that he spoke to her heart, because somebody comes to tell me something like, who are you? But he spoke to her heart. She didn't even have to ask. And then the faith was pushed off onto her husband. Because he didn't even have to ask. He just wanted to pray like what my wife said, let it be about and bring someone to help us.
Yes. And that the fact that his countenance, there was observation. He was fearful. I know, when somebody is coming to, there's something about a person's countenance that they're important, or they've come with something. When somebody coming with some mess. I know when somebody lying or were they BSing, because you just, as you live, you learn, you can. So she knew that he was to be feared. He was to be reverenced. And here he asked Yah, he said, teach us what to do with this child that is going to be, you're blessing us with. And it said, and Yah listened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of Yahuwah came again to the woman as she was sitting in the field. But Manoah, her husband, wasn't with her. Somebody get verse 3:12 of 1 Peter 3:12. Because in verse 8 it says, he entreated and Yah heard him. And so this is just evidence that lets us know he hears our prayers. Somebody else get Psalms 34:15. James 4:2 and 3. 2, yeah, through 3. 2, verse 4, 2 and 3, yes. And then 1 John 5:14 through 15. And then John 14:3. Psalms 34:15. Go ahead, you can read it if you have. Go ahead, read Peter.
1 Peter 3:12, for the eyes of Yahuwah are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of Yahuwah is against them that do evil.
What did Maury just talk about righteousness, and what did he say? They kiss. They go together. Righteousness and what else was it? Shalom. Righteousness and peace. You can't be in peace with a whole bunch of confusion. And so it's counted unto me as righteousness when I obey, right? So he heard and Asah, and he did, right? He heard and he did. And so he heard what was said and he did something. He prayed. And then somebody get 1 Peter 3:12. Read it for me, please. 34, 15, yes.
Your eyes again, you are on the right, and his ears unto their cry.
In the back. And his ears are unto the cry. So his eyes are on the wire. So he hears us. He sees, he hears, he's attentive, he's not asleep. He is not like the elves or the gods of these pagan nations. He doesn't have ears and can't hear, eyes and can't see. He hears and he sees and he's inclined. He's listening. He's listening. And so then someone get James 4 and 2. Because some of us wonder why our prayers aren't answered. They wonder why their prayers aren't being answered. And this is such a and when you ask, is it another scripture? Or is that? Yes, please. Because it's not in his will. It has to match what he says. You can't pray for things that he hasn't said are going to come to be. So there's nothing new. His will is that you obey. When I reveal it to you, you do it and you obey it. That is his will. So he revealed something to them. And just for confirmation, because we're humans and because he tells us to test the spirit, they prayed and he heard them. And then he came back again. So he listens, he's attentive, and he discerned. And it says that he visited her in the field again. And the field can mean in the land and the ground. She was being productive still after she was told that she was giving birth, that she was going to have a son. She didn't sit there like, okay, well, I'm going to wait and just sit here. She was still doing something. We have to still minister and do in the midst of whatever it is we're going through. We were just talking about that earlier today. Because on top of it seems like there's been a distraction on top of distraction on top of distraction in my personal life. And I'm like, you know what? I just, on my way here, like I said, looking at the scenery and just praying and meditating this morning and doing my meditation before I got here, I was like, everything else that's going on still isn't as important as what it is I've been assigned to do. We can get so caught up on people doing whatever they're going to do, the Philistines, the people who are going to follow after and do what they're going to do, they're going to be consumed. Because even the fact that you've been in their midst and they see you and they attack and they lie and they do certain things to you in your life, that's their own assignment. But I have an assignment that I have to stick to. I don't have to defend myself. I say it, but now I got to do it. Oh, I stand still and see the salvation of Yahuwah. But then I want to turn around and sock somebody in the eye. I do. Sometimes I do. I want to. I do. I'd be like, oh, you trained my hands to war, but not for that. Not for that. Not for nonsense. Because I have an assignment. My daughter left 3 kids here. And on top of that, I have my own children. I have my other grandchildren. So I can't get out the way. I'm the gatekeeper, right? And so we're going to see that too. Verse 12, 13, it says, and 10, sorry. So the woman ran quickly and told her husband, behold, the man who came to me the other day has appeared to me. Then Manoah arose and followed his wife. And when he came to the man, he said to him, are you the man who spoke to the woman? And he said, I am. That just like, I was in the bathroom this morning. I was like, yes. Oh my gosh. I was like, that is so crazy. I was like, I am. Verse 11, Exodus 3, 13 through 15. Somebody read that. Exodus 3, 13 through 15. Three, I'm sorry, 13 through 15, yes.
shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent you.
Mm.
And Elohim said further to Moshe, thus you are to say to the children of Israel, that Yahuwah, Elohim of your father, Elohim of Abraham, Elohim of Yitzchak, and Elohim of Yaakov has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is the remembrance to all generations.
So he said, this is my name forever. So where had they been delivered from? Out of the hands of Mizraim. Lineage, oration, story, passed down. I'm going to say something to you that you're going to not forget. Like my grandma, she had to say, oh, just keep living. If somebody say that to me, I know they knew her. You know what I mean? It's like, or they knew, or they knew they came from that generation. Oh, baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just keep living. You know they came from that generation. Yep. Just keep living. This ain't nothing new. You're going to see a whole lot more. Then I used to wonder, too. I'm like, how can they sit so regal and stoic through such tribulation a lot of times? But, boy, these eyes and ears, these eyes have seen a lot, these ears and heard a lot, and this heart done endured a lot. So you get strong once you go through certain things. So you say, okay, I am. Okay. So the woman, he said in 13, he said, so the angel of, and Manoah said, now, when your words come to pass, what shall the boy's mode of life and his vocation, what shall be his, so now he's inquiring, okay, I believe you. What he going to be? What he going to do? And then he said, what shall the boy's mode of life and be his vocation? So the angel of Yahuwah said to Manoah, let the woman pay attention to all that I said. Okay? Let her pay attention. You believed, you prayed, okay? Now let the woman pay attention to all I say. So the word again, shamar. Let her hedge about the stewardship and the responsibility I'm getting ready to give her. So we know that when we give birth, when we are called to be mothers, we are giving stewardship over a life, because for those first 15, 14 years, the mitzvah, before the mitzvah, the bar mitzvah, there are things that are happening that we are supposed to put in that kid. And you ain't supposed to be telling them, oh, let me see you twerk, and let me see. No. Let's recite truth. Let me put these things in you, because it's going to come a time where you're going to have to use them. So we're to care, nurture, procure certain things, protect them from certain things, protect their ears and their eyes and their hearts from certain things. Yes, we are the door. And we know that in the womb, the willing sacrifice begins, because sometimes mothers give up their very life. Pregnancy is important. The environment of the womb is essential. We're the gatekeepers. Somebody read Proverbs 8:34. And then somebody get Nehemiah 3:32. Just like the womb, or the Jerusalem was the center of worship, so is the womb where the sacred things take place. You willingly come to the door, to the gate, with your sacrifice. You willingly give homage to the Creator. So that's the thing with this whole promiscuity. Your womb and that area is sacred. That's a temple. Everybody don't come defile the sacred place. That's sacred. Proverbs 8:34 and Nehemiah 3:32. Nehemiah. Mm-hmm.
And between the going up of the corner of the sheep gate, the goldsmiths and the merchants made the pit. Which one? That's not me.
Nehemiah 32. No, what we're talking about where sacrifice begins. So the sheep gate is where the sacrifice begins, basically. The willing, because the sheep goes to slaughter willingly. So the whole thing with the womb is just a picture of the door, the gatekeeper, where willing sacrifice begins. And that was just a picture of that, and you can look at the sheep gate. But the temple was the center of worship. Proverbs 8:34. So your blood. Amen. So blessed is the one who waits at the gate. So just the gatekeeper, the one who watches. So the mother is the one who watches, who keeps the gate and listens and watches what Yeshua says. Says 14. She should not, and so the angel of Yahuwah said, this is 13, sorry, to Manoah, let the woman pay attention to all that is said. 14. She should not eat anything that comes from the vine, nor drink the vine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. Let her observe all that I have commanded. So we know now commandment is I ain't no, there is no turning it around. It's not questioning, oh, well, this is, I can do this. So she's given designated duty, how to eat clean, how to drink. And so we watch women get pregnant, they do, oh, we're going to junk up and feel, you have a whole life inside of you. You're not going to nurture and give this child the correct nutrients. And we don't. A lot of times we don't. It's like, oh, it's a free talk. I'm just going to gain weight and do this. Then you're mad afterwards because all the weight you gained, you got a 6-pound baby. And it's like 40 pounds. Yeah. No. There's order to this. And it's for a reason, set apart. The brain is developing. The mind is developing. The character of this child is developing. You are getting ready to give birth to, you don't know. We should treat all of our children like we're giving birth to the deliverer of a nation. That's what we should really do. We should really do as mothers and women, and we should raise them as such. 15. Then Manoah said to the angel of Yahuwah, please let us detain you so that we may prepare a kid for you. And the angel of Yahuwah said to Manoah, though you detain me, I will not eat your food. But if you prepare a burnt offering, then offer it to Yahuwah. For Manoah did not know that he was the angel of Yahuwah. So we know that the angel of Yahuwah, or the angel of the Lord, as it says in some of our Bibles, is a theophany. And they did desire to worship and show hospitality. They wanted to entertain this this messenger. Somebody read Hebrews 13:2.
Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for in doing so, some have entertained angels without knowing it.
So they were doing something that was customary. And then so again, we're reminded in Hebrews, like, hey, don't forget sometimes when a person comes, we know that a messenger or that an angel is a messenger. But when somebody comes to your home or you visitors, you don't know who you're entertaining. You don't know who you're in the presence of. You don't know who's in your presence. So that's just a scripture to reference back to that. And preparing a burnt offering, just write this down, Leviticus 1 through 17. And so in verse 17, it says, and Manoah said to the angel of Yahuwah, what is your name? So that when your word comes to pass, we may honor you. And the angel said, the angel of Yahuwah said to him, why do you ask me my name, seeing it is wonderful? I already told you who I was. Still didn't kind of catch it. You know how sometimes we be in the midst of something, you're like, that just flew right over my head. Then later you'd be like, dang, I was really in the presence. And I got all caught up and I wanted to do something great like Kiefer did. I was like, oh, we should build a tabernacle here. We should do this, go into talking about it. And he already told you who he was. So they desired to worship. They wanted to prepare a burnt offering. And they wanted to honor him or boast or glorify or make him weighty. He already told you I am. You missed it. You just missed it. So we see there they kind of missed it. Even though they were in it, they missed it. Verse 18 and 19. And so Manoah took the kid with the grain offering and offered it on the rock of the Lord. And he performed wonders while Manoah and his children Manoah and his wife looked. For it came about that when the flame went up from the altar towards heaven, that the angel of Yahuwah ascended in the flame of the altar. When Manoah and his wife saw this, they fell on their face to the ground. They got it then. He was like, oh, talking about what is your name? You just told me I am, but again, they missed it. They wanted to be able to say these things about him, make him weighty. He said, how you gonna ask me who I am when you already see that I am wonderful? I am him. I am. I already told you that. So somebody get Isaiah 9:6. It's the messianic prophecy. Verse. This is. He basically told them this. So basically, what he told them in Hebrew was, Pele. I'm this thing too high to be. I'm too marvelous for you to even comprehend right now. Don't trip. I'm just going to show you something. Go ahead and prepare the burnt offering. And he, boom, went up in the offer. He was consumed up and went on back. So once he came, that was just like an awesome picture when I seen that, when I looked at that. Then they realized that they had been graced with the presence of Yahuwah. Somebody look at Exodus 33:20 and Deuteronomy 5:26. So it says now, yeah, so then they knew he was an angel. They knew then. So it's a difference. Exodus 33:20 and Deuteronomy 5:26. So this will happen after. We'll see what happens after this. Somebody have Deuteronomy 5:26. So then after this, we're in. They fell on their faces on the ground. 21. Now the angel of Yahuwah appeared no more to Manoah or his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was the angel of Yahuwah. So Manoah said to his wife, we shall surely die, for we have seen Yah. Because of what had previously we just read about Exodus 33:20. They thought that if you see Elohim, that you have to be dead. But he came veiled, because you can't see him unless you're dead. But he veils himself because he had a purpose. And so his wife says, so Manoah said to his wife, okay, we shall surely die, verse 23. But his wife said to him, if Yahuwah had desired to kill us, he would not have accepted a burnt offering and a grain offering from our hands, nor would he have shown us all these things, nor would he have let us hear things like this at this time. So when Yah reveals certain things to you and he leaves you here, people are like, oh, I don't know what he's trying to tell me, or he been telling me this, and then you sit around and don't do it. If he don't take you, that means he needs you here to do something. I leave you here to do the work. We still here to work then, because I'm telling you, it's been some times I'm like, I laugh about it. I said, oh, I have really tried to die before. Just not literally take my life, but I'm just going to lay here and I'm going to see if I could just not wake up. I'm like, I'm still here, wake up. Sometimes I have my friend laughing at one point in my life. There was so much going on. I was like, I think I'm going to go check myself into the PAC unit. I'm just tired. She said, if you can rationalize whether or not you need to go to the PAC unit, ain't nothing wrong. You get up. I'm going to come over there and help you clean up. And you're going to do this. Do what you can do today. But sometimes we do have to be reminded of those things. If he wanted us dead, he would have consumed us right there. We wouldn't have got a chance to even hear it. And that is that's grace too. Because he leaves some of us here to tell it. Some of us here to still hear it, and some people still don't get it. That's just a picture of grace right there. I've revealed something to you. Some people have had so many things revealed to them, and they still don't catch it. They don't live through peril, pestilence, sickness, all kinds of things, and still don't catch it. And then I left you here for a reason. I didn't leave you here to still be stupid, but some people it's going to be a sad day. And it says, then the woman gave birth to a son and named him Samson. And the child grew up in Yahuwah, and the Yahuwah blessed him. So Yah blessed him, and he says, "I have known you before you were born." So Yah, it just in our reflection, because now we're gonna close out. He knew us before we were born. He knew what generation He was gonna put us in. He knew what we were gonna do. He knows the work that He has for us to do. He knows our purpose, but we have to line up with His will so that we walk in our purpose. And we'll see this. And I just love that um, verse 25 says, "And the spirit of Yahuwah began to stir him in Mahanedad between Zorah and Eshtaol." Somebody just study that next week. Have that so that you can give me my introduction. I'm going to know it, but I want somebody else to study what happens right here. The spirit of Yahuwah began to stir him in these particular places. In Mahane-dan, between Zorah and Eshtaol. That's going to be significant for where we end up next week. He knows our purpose. We have to line up with His will. And we've all been set apart for a great work, even coming from, like it says, glory to glory. Like we've come from the beginning. Some of us have come out of just the basics, just the Christianity, or for Yah so loved the world. We know that much, that He gave. Okay. Then we believe that. And then He's allowed us to walk into the present where we are right now. So He's delivered us from one place to another place to another place and set you in a place on purpose. So elevation requires a lot of separation, but it's only separation for the salvation of someone. So we've been elevated and separated from certain people, and a lot of times we go back and forth. Well, like we want to talk to people who are still in Christianity, but we've been given this elevation and separation for a reason, because He puts His workmanship on a platform for a reason. Don't keep getting off the platform going to play in a certain arena, because you're going to get again caught up, and you're going to see that, because you are in the land of Crete right now. We are amongst Philistines and Canaanites, and nothing is new. Nothing is new. When you look at all of this stuff, when you look at the people appointed to do certain things, the people that have the permission to do certain things in this generation, and we get caught up looking at them, but this has always happened. We are called to do a specific work. You are more of people observe you more when they watch how you deal with your children, and they watch how your children come out different in the midst of all of these things, and they start asking, well, how do you do this with all this going on? Because I'm separating them from this. And you have to set their hearts against certain things young. That's why He said you have to set their hearts against certain behaviors young. You have to, I have to continually reel my mind back. You got to reel your mind back. So we do. So the Spirit stirred him, and He began to do something with him in the midst of certain things. So in the midst of all of the trials, He's stirring our hearts too right now for something new, because we still here in this generation. Some of us are the oracles in our family. Some of us are the watchmen. Some of us are the ones that, hold the truth, and you just have to stay on that post. Is there anything anybody have to add? Yes.
And I've been seeing it like a lot lately. So much amount of work like setting of these, and then so as I'm at work, like as I'm leaving the house in the morning, just say take one, and then so I'm like, okay, so I just take one with me, and then I end up sitting there, and then he just tells me that's the one, and then for some strange reason we just get on the topic, and he just like he constantly uses you, so it's sometimes I feel like I have to step off of that, like you said, but then he reminds me not to, because you have eyes watching you. So if you're claiming that you know who He is, and that you follow the Torah, and that you're doing that, let me not see you doing anything other than that. And I get that. I see my mom watching me a lot, because she's really scared. She thinks that like I'm in a cold or something, because I've done a lot of Christianity, and so she stares at me, like my kids would. They said, yeah, who's so how much you got? You got none. They were singing that in the car, and she's like, hey, you're only supposed to say that at a certain time of day. I said, Mom, you don't know anything about Hebrew. And she was like, we're gonna have to talk. And I was like, oh God, here comes the Christian talking. I need you. I'm praying for you. I'm this and that. So, it's really hard for me. Like what you're saying is like really ministering to my heart.
Amen.
There's things that are part of me.
He is going to use you. Yes, Mom? Yeah. Amen. Yeah. And it's so, I get so, I get overwhelmed when I think about it. It's like, who am I, again, that you are mindful of me, that you called me out of this. And okay, I get to share in the sufferings of like Hamashiach did, because they thought him odd. They thought him, he had demons. They said all these things because I'm going back and I'm walking out what Torah is. Before I'm living Torah, I'm self. Amen. I just had someone send me a book. They called me at work and they said, what's your address at the shop? And I gave it to them. And I go, I'm like, I wonder what they send to me. So I get a book. And the book is a minute after you die. And so it says, oh, you have a conscience and you'll have this and you'll still have your same personality in hell and all these things. I'm like, oh, okay. And then me, I'm always one that reads into, when you want to go deep, we'll go to I'll find the bottom of the ocean for you. We could go there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to think it into the abyss. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to even respond. But then I was like, you know what? I am going to respond because like I've said and I continue to say, I am more secure about my salvation and about the eternal destination than anywhere else now. Today, right now, if I leave here right now, I am fine because I know I have been obeying Yahuwah and I am going to leave the consequences to him. And he's not cruel. He's not a liar. So I can say, I'm convinced of all of his attributes. So there's nothing that don't sway me. I want to have my personality. I thank him for the personality he gave me. I thank him for the consciousness that I will have. And I thank him for the stuff I ain't going to remember once I get in his presence. So thank you for the book. And just, I'm like, okay. But I do, oh yeah, whatever. But I'm just like, the concerns of people. You so concerned at what you think is odd that I'm doing. But in the meantime, other things are stirring up in your life. Certain things are still going on. It's like, doing. Perspective, yes. Indoctrination is something. So we have been, even with teaching, we don't, even in scholastics, they don't teach you to be a free thinker. They want to indoctrinate you with what they want you to know, because they want you to create robots. I want followers. To make a disciple means you do what the one before you has already done, and you don't change it up. I'm not gonna follow you blind when this right here it shows me every way he followed, and he followed and he followed and it worked. And I know the end. I'm not going to do something different.
I just like, when I came out of Christianity, I was in myself, not like a dark place, but like a weird space. I even was like, okay, I'm depressed.
I don't even know what I believe.
And when I went back to church, I was just sitting there, I was like,
I can't do this. Yes.
When I left, and then so I started to wake up more and more, like, I just can't do it. And, my thing to anybody that's coming out of Christianity is that, why are you fearing? Because you're following his book. Like, as Christians, we don't really follow. We follow what the pastor
tells us to do.
So we're going to be following where he's going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're following the Torah and following the scriptures, then, no need to way about me because God, He's not going to punish me for following His laws. Even if the laws are done away with and I start to follow these laws, He's going to say, you know what, you're bad because my son destroyed all the laws. Now you're following them, so I have to destroy
you? No.
I'm
just doing what I, exactly. And truth over tradition any day.
Exactly.
Tradition, we know tradition has a beginning, right? Melchizedek was a high priest and a king, and he didn't have a beginning or end. So I'll follow truth over tradition any day, because truth has, the inception of truth is from in antiquity, but tradition started somewhere. Antiquity, we don't know, we won't know where it started until He shows us how it all started. We just live in by faith, and we are going. I am, and I will strongly suggest you continue. Don't, no matter what. Truth, truth. What's truth? Not their truth, not tradition's truth, not His truth. His truth. Yeah.
And so,